Welcome to the Becoming You Show with me, your host, Leah Rowling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, or you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You Show starts now. Hello, my friends. How are you? I hope you're awesome. I was just talking to my producer right before here that I would just took a minute before I started this conversation we're going to have today to send you tons of energy and love. So I hope you feel it. I'm pre-recording this for you because I will be at the Aligned event this weekend. I get to be a keynote and I get to workshop around the topic of breakthrough. Now, who the audience is going to be, I've already visualized them. I've got it down to like 3 audience members specifically. When I visualize it, when I think about it, when I feel the energy of the room, and I'm not sure what they represent. It's kind of creepy, right? But I have a feeling I'm going to find out. And of course, it is so cool to think about this topic and what a breakthrough means for you and for me and for them, that I thought I would share with you some of the thoughts that I will be sharing with them in this episode today. Because while yes, I want everyone to have their breakthrough this year, you, my dear listener, are super, super important to me, super special. And the fact that you listen to me and share with me about your journey and how some of the insights that I offer help you and those that you love tremendously, that keeps me inspired. That warms my heart. And so I thank you. And in particular, I received a message from a listener that required as to whatever happened with the chairs and the sunscreen. The question was, did you get them back? I think the exact question was, did you get your sunscreen and your chairs back? So I love you. I love my listeners so much. So thank you for caring. If you missed last week's episode, I spoke about the importance of emotional awareness and the 7th sense. I truly believe that emotional awareness and navigating the lessons within each feeling is what is required. And emotional clearing is feeling these emotions and choosing whether to respond in love or react in fear. And the more you operate from the loving part of your personality, the less you will operate from your frightened part of your personality. The awareness is the gateway to this shift. What you choose, my beautiful friends, will either align your personality with your soul or higher order self, or it won't. And it's a practice, friends, and your life is the school. Situations, circumstances will tempt you to try to manipulate and control. This new consciousness invites you to tap into that temptation and clear the emotions that are festering within. If not, no doubt, you will become what you judge. Either way. If you are looking at humanity in awe and joy and gratitude and love, that is who you will become. If you are looking at humanity as inconveniences, entitled aggravations, that is what you will become. Inconvenienced, entitled in your own right, and aggravated. The commentary that my brain likes to offer to me. And it offered it to me when I came down and I saw that our pool chairs were gone and our towels were gone and our sunscreen was gone, right? Is what is the matter with people? Do you guys ever think that? Like, what's the matter with people? Where is their compassion? Where is their patience? Where is their love? And the question is always for my benefit to explore. Leah, where is your compassion here? Where is your patience here? Where is your love here? That line of inquiry leaves me lacking all three. That what's the matter with people? It leaves me lacking compassion, lacking patience, and lacking love. So the better question is, what would mine look like here? I lose all access to this new consciousness when I'm in judgment. I divide myself in a world already indebted to the right and wrong classification. So, for my dear listener, I was able to navigate back to love on my trip, thankfully. It required emotional awareness and choice. And that's what I spoke about last episode. The question wasn't, were they deserving of my compassion, my patience, and love? Those people that took our chairs and towels and sunscreen. The more profound question was I? Was I deserving of my compassion, my patience, and love? And for that, I answered yes. Did this change our situation? No. Did we get our chairs back? No. Did we get our towels back? No. Did we get our sunscreen back? No. But what I got was so much better than that. I got my joy. I got my peace back. And I'm not so sure there's anything much better than that, to feel as if no matter what anyone wants from me, no matter what anyone takes from me, to know that they can't take my spirit is pretty empowering. And so today, I want to expand on this topic of emotional awareness and choice and really dig deep into a topic that I am madly passionate about. And that is the one of our brain, our thoughts, our beliefs. So I thought I would start with a story about elephants. Interestingly enough, I used to collect stuffed elephants, right? That's a little fun fact. Started when I was in my very first play. I played the part of Little Nell, and it was at our church, and Little Nell played the role of a little girl without a father. The irony of life, right? Anyway, I had a knack of memorizing not just my lines, but everyone else's. So when they couldn't remember their lines, I would help them with just like the first few words. I was probably 10, 11. Anyway, Donna, the minister's wife, gave us all little gifts as tokens of appreciation. And she gave me an elephant. And I didn't know it at the time, but apparently elephants have amazing memories. So it just stuck. So growing up, I collected them. But that's not the story that I wanted to share. The story is that elephants, from a very young age, are tied by a rope to a fence that they cannot break. And as they grow, right, despite how big they get, despite how strong they get, they remain bound by the same rope. Not because it restrains them physically, but because it confines them mentally. Because they believe that rope is stronger than they are. These ropes are what I want to dig into with you today. These ropes are the ingrained beliefs and false narratives that we've been conditioned to accept as truths. They dictate our actions, they restrict our growth, and they leave us feeling powerless. Now, I get it, right? I get it. Along with the mindfulness movement came this notion of limiting beliefs. And I think that we passively nod the notion that we all have some beliefs that limit us. Okay. Like we passively nod and accept that our thoughts and our beliefs are not true. We passively nod when we're told that we are the ones in charge, that we can either choose to be the boss of our brain or the brain can be the boss of us. But your breakthrough is not going to come from passively nodding in agreement. It's not. We can't just think we know. We have to feel and then act from that feeling. The work that we do is all about thinking and learning the connection between thinking and feeling and living a conscious life, which means to become aware of what you are thinking and deciding what to think on purpose in order to feel the way you want to feel in your life. And since everything we do or not do in our life is based on a feeling, this is not just something that I would suggest we're just passive about. It's everything. Reflecting on whether you have mental clutter in the form of ingrained beliefs, false narratives, sabotaging thoughts is the step towards not just your growth, not just your awareness, but it is the key to your breakthrough. So I'm hoping that in this episode, you don't just hear me talk passively, but that you will sit with me and explore some of these questions that will give and that you give yourself the gift of time with yourself and dig deep into these blind spots of your mind. Remember the elephant? It believes that it's tied to a fence. It believes that it remains unfree. You have ropes, we all do, that are keeping us stuck. And I would say keeping us stuck against our will. But if you are listening to this, it isn't against your will. And I'm going to say this lovingly. It's against your desire to be free. Friends, I say this out of love, and I'm challenging you to explore this with me today. Otherwise, not only are you no different than the elephant that's tied to the fence, you are choosing to stay stuck there. And you know that I will love you either way. I just want you to be able to do the same. So here are some questions that I want to help you explore this area. I want you to ask yourself a few of these, and maybe you pause after each question. Maybe you listen to this all out and then go back. Either way, if you hear me, if you're listening to this right now, if you just let me talk on and ask the questions, and then at the end of the podcast, you're like, oh, those are some great questions. You're the elephant with the rope tied to a fence. He can break free. All he has to do is just do something he's never done before. All he has to do is turn around and walk the other way. He will break free of that rope. The ask, the invitation, the challenge right now is for you to not passively nod your head as I ask these questions. Oh, that's a good question. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Maybe I should think about that one. Or one of my favorites is, oh, yeah, I know somebody that needs to ask. I know somebody that I need to ask that question to. These questions are for you. Every single one of them. They're for you. Some of them might be more powerful than others, but they're all designed with you in mind, because they were all designed with me in mind. The way that we break free of that rope is we bring our unconscious to our conscious. We bring what was unaware from our unconscious into our awareness. That is how we shift into levels of consciousness. That is how we free ourselves from the rope. So nodding your head and passively listening to these questions is not going to free you from the ropes that keep you stuck. Hearing the question, inviting yourself to answer that question. That will be the difference maker. So here are some questions. First question is, how do I react? Hold a second, I got to read this from here. Okay. How do I react to challenges or failures? So I want you to ask yourself that. How do you react to challenges or failures? The second question, when I face setback, do I see it as a reflection of my abilities or as a learning opportunity? The difference here is game changing. Do I often attribute failures to my inherent qualities like intelligence or talent, rather than to controllable factors like effort or strategy? What narratives do I have about success? How do I define it? I think I've asked you that question on the show before. How do you define success? We all define it in a different way. I want you to know how you define it. Do I believe success is only certain for a type of person, or is it attainable for anyone, including myself? Do I have preconceived notions about certain life choices? Are there life paths or choices like career decisions, lifestyles, relationships that I immediately dismiss as not for me without deeper exploration? What are my views on unconventional paths? Are they based on personal values? Are they based on societal expectations? Are they based on what my parents asked me to believe? Am I operating from the expectations that other people have of me? How do I view change? Am I open to change, or do I resist it? Do I view change as an opportunity for growth or as a threat to my comfort zone? Good ones today. How much does fear influence my decisions? You guys, all of these questions get at our mental clutter. All of these questions are inviting you to consider that there's some unconscious sabotaging going on back here, and it's keeping you limited. It's keeping you tied to a rope that you can break anytime you want to. But it requires an awareness. It requires an awareness, just like with the elephant. Wait a second here. I am stronger than that rope. You are stronger than that rope. You are smarter and stronger and more capable and more valuable than your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. But if we are not aware of not only our thoughts, but our answers to our thoughts, we will forever and for always be stuck by them. I also want you to think about, what are your self-talk patterns? Right? Do you often engage in negative self-talk? Are your thoughts about yourself, are they genuinely positive and empowering, or are they negative and limiting? Am I living by my values or someone else's? Do I feel stuck in certain areas of my life? Are there areas in my life where I'm not making progress? How do I perceive others' successes and failures? I've got so many other questions on here, and here's the thing. We don't need to answer all of them. Pick one. Pick one. Maybe listen to this again and pick the one that scares you the most to answer. Pick the one that your brain wants to offer you. Oh, I don't know. That's the one. Because we all know that I don't know is a lie. I don't know is your brain's way of wanting to confuse you. Because guess what's on the other side of I don't know? A shift. Your freedom. On the other side of I don't know is you breaking free from that rope. That's why your brain doesn't want you to go there, because it doesn't know what's on the other side. It doesn't know what's in the field. It doesn't know what kind of danger you could be getting into. What it knows is, as long as you've been standing there with your ankle tied to a rope, tied to a fence, you have remained alive. Not living, but alive. And your brain cares way more about you being alive than it cares about your breakthrough this year. Your breakthrough is going to require you to challenge your doubt. Your breakthrough is going to require you to challenge these questions where your brain is going to offer up, I don't know. You're going to have to challenge your own confusion to be able to free yourself from the cage. I promise you this is the way. I promise you this is the way. Reflecting on these questions really does help uncover the mental clutter, what I'll call the mental clutter, the ingrained beliefs, the false narratives, the sabotaging thoughts, the limiting notions, whatever you want to call it, paving the way for a more conscious and fulfilling life, because you're bringing it out of awareness, in the darkness, into light, so that you can see it. So I want to wrap up this episode with two of the most toxic thought patterns that I think that we find ourselves stuck in. One is that our life should be different, that it should be better in some way, that we believe that the goal of our life should be happy. And we get all upset when our life doesn't fit that expectation. And I talk a lot about this idea, the 50-50, that is life, right? This idea that life is equally composed of positive and negative experiences, that our life is awesome 50% of the time and awful 50% of the time. And nothing has gone wrong. There's a balance to the universe. That is the balance. You can't outrun it, although most of us try. And we try it by escaping, by buffering, by overdoing, over shopping, overeating, overindulging, overdoing, so that we don't have to feel the 50. And understanding this is a crucial rope that can either bind or liberate us. Acknowledging this balance to the universe really helps us to declutter our minds from unrealistic expectations of this perpetual happiness or perfection. When we drop this notion that the world was supposed to be perfect, that we were supposed to be happy all the time, and that we were supposed to be 100% good all the time, and embrace the truth, we will become a more loving and more accepting and less judgmental version of ourselves. By accepting that life inherently includes challenges alongside of joys, we can release the mental clutter, the thoughts that create the feelings of resentment and disappointment and frustration. And those are the thoughts that arise when things don't go as planned. So this acceptance is a liberating rope, guiding us to a more, what I'm going to say, a realistic and peaceful approach to life. Okay, the other toxic thought pattern that we operate from is the one where we give more importance to what other people expect of us than what we expect of us. And I get it. We are wired for connection and belonging. We are programmed for acceptance and approval. And what we must not only know, but feel is that other people's expectations of us is about them. And if you live out the expectations of your parents, of your spouse, of your children, of your friends, you will be living someone else's life. And when we do that, we will constantly be disappointed with ours. We will feel inauthentic, and that feels terrible. And when we feel inauthentic, we detach ourselves from ourselves. And we will constantly feel the need for external validation. This rope of authenticity where we validate ourselves and we make the choices that resonate with our own values and aspirations is essential for your breakthrough. It's essential for a life that you find fulfillment in. And I get it. Sometimes these ropes are easy to see. They're obvious, and other times they're so sneaky. They're so sneaky. But that is why we have to do the work. That is why we get to do this work together. We get to manage our mind. We get to journal. We get to answer these questions that I posed so that you can shift and challenge the fear and shift into love for yourself. Because when you can do that for yourself, that is a gift that not only you give to you, but you give to the world. And that shift is what we are doing and what I invite each and every one of you to do if you are not already signed up for us already. It is an incredibly inexpensive way to keep this type of conversation top of mind to you, because your shift cannot be left to randomness. Otherwise, what will happen is you will continue to do what you've always done. Not because there's anything wrong with you, but because we have a primitive brain that we operate from 95% of the time. So if we're only operating from that part of our brain, not 95% of the time, that means we're only operating from this part of the brain 5% of the time, which means we need practice. We need an ecosystem. We need a curriculum that will help remind us to live into the best of who it is that we are. That is what Shift is. That is what the membership is. And if you want a breakthrough this year, right? You want to accomplish those things that you want this year. I would invite you to consider that the way that you're going to do that, is not by doing what you've always done, but by doing something different, by putting yourself into a group where we hold space and we hold you accountable to what you want in your life, not what everybody else wants in your life. So if you're not part of this community and you listen to me, I want to invite you in. I want to invite you in because this is the way that we are going to shift into another level of consciousness. I want that for you. I want that for the people that you love. I want that, in all honesty, for the world. So until next time, my beautiful friends, we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye. You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rolling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahrolling.com.